Make that big boss less special. It ain't no game, but they saying welcome to the second level. Second level.
Hello, Internet, and welcome back, or welcome to the official Level 2 podcast, episode 62. My name's Keegan, one half Level 2 Gamers. That's Tom over there. If it wasn't Tom, it'd be weird. That means somebody else either showed up and or...
it would be weird because it's my house.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be weird, like, necessarily, but yeah, it would be weird because, you know.
So we're back from the Indy Popcons. E3 happened. A lot of things happened.
Well,
you can check out Codename Morpheus and the Indy Please Add Details. Those are now live yesterday and the day before. And we talk a little bit about kind of what happened during E3. We didn't really talk about Indy Popcon, but if we're going to talk about Indy Popcorn here. Yeah, that's what today is. Yeah. So for those of you who don't know how the official Level 2 podcast works, if you're new,
hi.
Welcome. Hello. I'm going to stare lovingly into your eyes while I say this. I pick a topic. We discuss that topic. We then play a little game in the middle. Usually it's named that game because we never do things ahead of time. And then Tom picks a topic and we talk about it. So my topic for today was brought up. If you watched, I guess it was being a Codename.
Thursday.
Yeah, it's being a Codename.
Yeah.
If you watched,
about my
Tom almost died in a car. So I'm going to quiz Tom on driving laws in cars and see how much he knows. So I don't know why I'm talking like this.
That's your topic?
That's my topic. I'm just going to quiz the hell out of you on things. So.
They're going to take my license away from me.
Yeah.
It's only a permit anyway.
So, no, the main reason I want to talk, I'm going to back up here so I don't blow your guys' ears out. The main reason I want to talk about it was there was a thought that came up. So do you want to retell that story? Just
Sure.
So people who didn't see Codename can know what happened?
Yeah, so I have recently begun to learn to drive.
He has a driver's permit.
No idea how to do it. My wife thinks the best way to learn to drive is to just drive. So
That is the best way.
Which is true.
Usually in a parking lot, though, where you can't hit anything.
Yeah, I just right on the road. So I've been like kind of casually going to the grocery store and back and things like that. So this time we went a little bit further.
You can't drive by yourself, right? She has to be in the car. You have to have a licensed driver with you.
Yeah, she has to be in the car. And so we went anyway to the post office at the grocery store. And on the way back, there was a four-way cross-section, junction, intersection. Thank you. And I was going forward and I had to turn left and there was a green light and I didn't yield because I didn't know I had to. I asked my wife and she's like, you should stop. But I was like halfway through, so I was like, if I stop
So you
now,
asked your wife after you had already started?
Well, no, as we were approaching, goes, it's okay to go, right? It's green. And I just started going. And then she said, no, it's not. And I was like, I'm kind of already going here.
What you should have done was ask the question sooner so you had time to react.
Well, I'm blaming her for not actually bringing it up sooner. Because I feel like...
You're the one in control of the car, not her.
But I don't know the rules. So if we were approaching it, she should be saying to me, like a good instructor, should be saying, so you're going to want to slow down here before you turn to make sure
Does she normally instruct you when you're driving? Because that would drive me crazy.
She tries.
That would drive me crazy.
But yeah, so
you should learn the rules of the road, which is what I'm going to quiz you on here.
So anyway, I
open up this computer.
Took a dive to the left, gunned it, and barely survived. But I survived, and I didn't even get the horn blown at me because of my superior positioning. So Keegan thought that story was funny, and in turn now thinks I'm a terrible driver, which is absolutely correct. But he apparently wants to quiz me on drivey things. We're in
the state of Missouri, so I'm going to look up state Missouri specific things.
Okay.
But the first question I have for you was this was actually brought up on my driver's test in New York State, which is where I learned how to drive.
Okay.
So the question I will always remember was, when approaching an intersection, which gets the highest priority? Is it a stoplight, a police officer, or a yield light, like a flashing yellow?
What do you mean by the highest priority?
Which gets highest priority in your decision making? A stoplight, a yield light, or a police officer?
I assume a police officer.
Yes, because police officers, traffic cops override anything else.
That's kind of what I thought, yeah. I mean, if you go through the red, that's the book I studied to get my permit, yeah. So
cool. Well, I'm going to test you on here.
There's actual questions at the bottom.
Is there?
But I can answer those because that's how I got the permit. I probably forgot all of them, but I would say Obviously, whenever a police officer is on your tail and telling you to do something, you should probably do it, especially in America. Otherwise, you might end up in a police chase or dead or whatever. I don't know. It's interesting. They tell people that come to this country just to visit. If the police tell you to do anything, immediately do it. If they approach your car, keep your hands on the wheels and don't get out till they tell you. Like they warn you about the police.
So when I got pulled over with my expired license plates on my other car, one of the things I ended up doing. So there was no shoulder because you're supposed to pull into the shoulder so you out of the traffic. So we were right next to a mall. So I was like, I pointed out the window saying, "Hey, I'm going to park in here," like giving them a heads up. Like, I'm going to get you out of, because I also think about the cop, because the cop doesn't want to get out in the middle of the road and come approach me. Like, it's not safe for them. So I pulled in there, and she goes, "What'd you do with your finger?" I was like, "I'm just telling you I was pulling in here." She's like, "Got it now." She's like, "It was just weird. I didn't think what was happening."
It's like it's a middle finger up there.
Well, no, it's just, she saw me, like, she said she pointed, so she didn't understand, like, what I was, like, she's like, "There's a mall there, yeah." But I was like, it was more like, "Hey, I'm going in here."
Right.
So you're safe. So we have 40 questions. This is a driving test practice test from the Department of Revenue for the state of Missouri.
Okay.
Question number 1. At a railroad crossing, you must stop blank before the railroad tracks. And it's multiple choice, so you have a chance. Between 5 and 50 feet, between 15 and 50 feet, between 10 and 45 feet, or between 15 and 20 feet.
What a bullshit question. That's not on the test.
The practice test.
At a railroad crossing, you must stop something before the railroad tracks.
50 to 50 feet, so 5 to 50 feet, 15 to 50 feet, 10 to 45 feet, or 15 to 20 feet.
Let's go.
I don't even know the answer to this one.
C.
See?
Yeah.
Between 10 and 45?
Yeah.
No. It is between 15 and 50. When you approach a railroad crossing, slow down, look for a train. Make sure you do that.
Well, I wasn't intending on,
Get ready to
gunning
stop.
a train.
If you see a railroad crossing sign, a signal whose light is red was flashing or gate is down, you must stop between 15 and 50 feet from the nearest rail. Trains are at least 6 feet wider than the tracks they run on, so you don't want to come too close. Did you know?
That's close.
Another fun fact, if you're ever driving rural United States, a lot of them don't have the barriers that come down. Look for lights. I had an incident one time. I was going to Illinois, and the railroad crossing was like, it's like up and over. I had to go over a hump, and I saw the lights flashing, but I didn't see a train. And even if the lights are flashing, you stop because you need to make sure that nothing come and hit you. And I didn't see a train, and I was like, okay, what's going on? So I waited there for a few minutes, and nothing happened. So I pulled through, and no joke, within because there's nothing around you. So I mean, you've driven in the middle of the United States. There's nothing. So maybe 2 to 3 minutes after I went through, there's a train that came by, but I looked both ways, didn't see anything, so I don't know if it came around the corner or what, but I didn't die.
There's some
good.
really cool parts of the book that talk about like what to do if you get stuck on a train track, which I thought was cool. Like you're supposed to get out and run towards the train, because if you run the other way, you might get hit with like shrapnel and stuff from the car, which I thought was neat.
Run towards it, usually at a 45-degree angle, towards it away, like towards away from it, if that makes sense. What is this sign? It is a black and white striped rectangle vertical sign. Is it a guide sign on an interstate highway, a barricade at a construction zone, a warning sign at a work zone, or an object marker on a roadway?
Well, it's not a construction zone thing because those are all orange. It's not a warning sign. I'd say it's a guide sign on the interstate highway.
Guide sign on the A?
Yeah.
It is a marker on a roadway. So it tells you the mile markers.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Didn't know
It
that.
also tells you not to divide between lanes as well.
Killing it so far.
Yep. When driving in fog at night, you should use A, low beam headlights, B, emergency flashers, C, high beam headlights, or D, parking lights.
High beam headlights. Your fog lights.
You're saying high beam? You were
I'm
wrong.
saying
Low
fog
beam.
lights.
Low beam.
Oh, is that what they're called?
Yep. So high beams will reflect it back at
I
you.
thought they had their own name.
Nope. So normally high beams will let you see farther, but they can reflect off precipitation, causing glare.
I should not be on the road.
Using low beams in fog, rain, or snow, However, fog becomes so dense that visibility is reduced to near zero.
I kind of knew
off the
that.
roadway.
I was a little sharp on my answer there. I feel like the
Yes.
pressure got to me.
Yeah, you
I
are
kinda
0
knew,
for 3.
I kind of knew that. I think I had that question.
We need something
on my,
like this for our 20 questions. This is a wonderful setup. We need to
Right.
rip this off.
to be fair here, I did pass the actual Missouri drivers. Like, this is a little extensive. Like, they never made me remember like meter amounts for how far to be away from a railroad. No, not at all.
Mine was one of the questions I had on the New York State driving test was how far back behind a school bus you had to stop.
Yeah, for us, it was just like, do you have to stop if the school bus is in the opposite lane? Or
I thought it was
like
interesting when you go get your driver's license renewed, they ask you about the road signs. I don't remember New York doing that, but I also
the road signs and also they test your
peripheral
eye too.
Yeah,
you
are approaching a school bus that has stopped to take on or discharge passengers. You do not have time to stop for this. You do not have to stop for the school bus if you're traveling on a roadway in the same direction as the bus. You're traveling on a one-way street. You're traveling on a divided highway in the opposite direction of the bus. You're traveling on an undivided road in the opposite direction of the bus. See?
Highway.
You're driving on a divided highway, the opposite of the bus.
Yeah.
You are correct.
Boom!
I'm not going to read that one because you got it right.
Got one right.
Oh, here you go. If you're under 21 years of age and caught driving with blood alcohol content, BAC, of blank, your driver's license may be suspended. 0.04, 0.06, 0.02, 0.08. This one I don't know because I don't know what Missouri's law is.
8.
So 8 is legally drunk for anybody.
8.
0.02.
Shit.
So I was trying to give you a hint there. So you don't need to know that because you're not under 21. But so like certain states like Mississippi is a 0 tolerance. So if you have any alcohol in your system, you're in trouble.
Yeah. 0.08 is the one where they'll send you to jail. I guess.
Yeah. 0.08 is driving while intoxicated.
It's a trick question.
Yes. It's not a trick question.
It's kind of a trick
You just didn't listen.
I just didn't listen.
If you're about to pass a bicycle to your right and an oncoming vehicle is approaching you on your left, what should you do? Slow down and let the vehicle pass first. Sound your horn and warn the bicyclist of the oncoming vehicle. Increase your speed and pass the bicycle first. Drive between the vehicle and the bicycle.
The first one.
Slow down and let the vehicle pass first. You are correct.
Yay!
When approaching a roundabout, you should get this. This is England. When approaching a roundabout, you must move in a clockwise direction. Activate your left turn signal to exit. Yield to traffic in the roundabout and pedestrians in the crosswalk, or enter from the left. Do you want me to repeat?
Well, when you go in there, you turn right. Is that entering from the left?
When you're approaching a roundabout, you must move in a clockwise direction.
That's not right because you go this direction.
Activate your left turn signal to exit.
You go right to exit. So that's
yield
not
to
right.
traffic in a roundabout and pedestrians and crosswalks, or
definitely yield
enter
to traffic.
enter from the left.
Yield to traffic?
Yes. Yes. You're getting better. We started off rocky. We're getting better.
We're getting there. It's almost equal.
What does this sign indicate? It is a orange, those of you listening, is an orange triangle. Is it a taxi, a detour, slow-moving vehicle, or vehicle carrying hazardous materials?
Detour? Is it orange?
It's an orange triangle.
Slow-moving vehicle.
You are correct. You'll see these on the back of snowplows.
Yeah, because there's no other symbolism on it, so it's got to be that.
Yeah.
50%. Mm-hmm. 4 right, 4 wrong, baby. Let's do this.
You have parked next to a curb facing downhill.
By the way, if you're playing along at home, I want to know your score. Post it.
You are parked next to a curb facing downhill. Which way should you point your vehicle's front wheels?
Facing downhill?
Yeah, so you're facing down. So the front of your car is going down. Should you face them in any direction?
No.
Toward the curb, straight, or away from the curb? I don't remember this.
If you're facing downhill,
you're facing downhill.
The curb.
So you're on the right side and you're on the incline. The front of your car is lower than the back of your car. Towards the curb?
Mm-hmm. Boom!
You are correct.
Sucker. If you're going uphill, it's
away because that way your car turns this way. When are you allowed to pass another vehicle on the right? If the vehicle is making or about to make a left turn, if the vehicle is making or about to make a right turn on a 2-lane road in none of the above situations.
You can definitely pass it on the right. It's not ideal, but
that's not the question.
The
question is when can you?
About to make a left turn?
When it's about to make a left turn? Correct. I don't know what you need to pass. I don't know what you need to pass the test, but you're getting better. To prevent highway hypnosis,
80%, I think.
You should send text messages, exercise your eyes, take stimulants, talk on a cell phone. Do you know highway hypnosis is? Where you kind of
None of those are the right answer.
We zone out.
Yeah, I know it. I guess exercise your eyes.
Exercise your
Is
eyes.
the closest to the right answer, which is fucking
correct.
stop and like chill for a minute. Or
To prevent
sleep.
the condition by shifting your eyes from one area to another of the roadway.
You
So
can't
don't
really
just,
prevent it. You're supposed to stop and like take a nap or something if you're getting too tripped out.
no. If you're doing if you're doing the hypnosis, if you just move your point of vision somewhere else, it'll help you stay alert.
That makes sense.
So that's why like our highway system is stupid for it because it's all straight lines.
Yeah.
In Missouri, when following a vehicle at night, you must use your low beams within 450 feet, within 350 feet,
This was a
within
legit
400
question I
feet,
had.
or within 300 feet.
300.
300? I don't know that. Just guess.
Yeah. I actually got that wrong. That's why I know the right
What
answer.
does this sign mean? It's a yellow.
It's a roundabout,
It's a
baby.
yellow sign with 3 arrows on it.
It's a roundabout, baby.
Hold on. There's a 270-degree freeway ramp ahead. There's a roundabout ahead. Left turn only allowed here. There's a shared left lane turn ahead. So roundabout. It is a roundabout. Use blank to maintain a safe following distance behind the vehicle in front of you. The 2-second rule, the 3-second rule, the 4-second rule, or the 1-second rule. Or in my car, you use its technology.
I thought it was 5, but I'm going to go with 4. 3.
A good way to measure your safe distance is use the 3-second rule. Choose a stationary object, such as a sign or telephone pole. As the vehicle ahead of you passes, start counting 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000. If you reach the object before finish counting, you're too close to the vehicle ahead. What I was taught was the tires in front. If you can see all the tires in front, then you're fine. That was New York.
That's close.
Blank are large blind spots around trucks where a car cannot be seen by a driver. Stop zones, no zones, zero zones, or blind zones.
No zone.
Are you sure?
Yep.
It is. Oh, no zone. I clicked the wrong one.
That's right.
Yes. My bad.
Can you unclick that and give me my
No,
point
I
back?
can't. I can restart it.
No, don't restart it. Just know that I have one more point than I
Yes.
have at the end.
According to Missouri law, blank must wear a seatbelt if the driver holds an intermediate license. The driver and front seat passengers, only the drivers and backseat passengers, driver and all passengers.
Driver and all passengers, man.
Yes, that would be done.
Doesn't matter about any
Nope.
situation. You're supposed to wear one.
If your vehicle starts to hydroplane, you should brake hard, depress the accelerator, slow down gradually, all of the above.
Depress the accelerator.
Nope, slow down gradually.
Isn't that the same fucking thing?
Nope. Because if you depress the accelerator, you're getting off of it, but you're still getting out of control.
So how do
So
you slow down gradually?
pump the brakes.
Oh,
So you're trying to get traction back, so eventually they'll hopefully catch on.
gotcha.
If there are no traffic signals, you must slow down or stop for pedestrians in a intersection, a marked crosswalk, an unmarked crosswalk, or all of the above.
If there are no traffic signals, you must slow down or stop for pedestrians in... I guess all of the above. I'm probably wrong.
You are correct. As to the unmarked one was the one I was concerned
I mean, you
about.
should stop for pedestrians
Yes.
at any point, I think, is a pretty standard thing.
Signal a turn at least blank before you make the turn. 50 feet, 25 feet, 200 feet, or 100 feet.
25?
100 feet.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, shit.
Because you're letting people know behind you. It gives you 2 seconds to let them react. Because 25, you're on it.
I don't really understand feet too well.
So 25 feet is probably the width of this room.
Yeah, you're right. I should have gone up on that. I really if I'm still on the
The
metric
first
system over
step
here.
in Missouri's graduated driver's license program for young drivers is obtain a permit, obtain a full driver's license, obtain an automobile insurance, obtain an intermediate license.
Intermediate.
It's a permit, buddy. You get the permit before you get a
What's
license.
the intermediate?
So in New York, I don't know what it is in Missouri, but in New York, they let you do the permit is you have now. You have to drive with somebody with a license in certain times. An intermediate is I can drive by myself to and from work, and or I can drive my friends during certain hours. So not after sundown. And then full license is
Gotcha.
full license.
Didn't know.
Well, now you do. You better because you're about to have one, hopefully. On a roadway with 3 or more lanes traveling in the same direction, the leftmost lane is intended to be used for slower vehicles, heavy trucks, for stopping in an emergency, for passing slower vehicles.
Passing slower vehicles.
Yeah, nobody ever does that, though. Fuckers. When entering a highway, use the entrance ramp and blank to increase your speed to match the speed of highway traffic. The deceleration lane, shoulder lane, acceleration lane, uncontrolled access path.
Acceleration lane.
Yes. When turning corners, your steering wheel... turn the steering wheel using one hand, a single hand technique, hand over hand technique, hand off technique.
Hand over hand technique.
You can tell the book ones you read. To pass a motorcycle, you should not pass an adjacent lane, pass in an adjacent lane, use the rightmost lane, use the same lane as the motorcycle. That last one makes no sense.
What?
To pass a motorcycle, you should not pass an adjacent lane, pass in an adjacent lane, use the rightmost lane.
What's adjacent again?
Next to.
Yeah, pass in an adjacent lane.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, you wouldn't pass in the
Just
same
pass
lane.
normally, it should say.
What does this sign mean?
Why you got to bring language into
It's
it?
a dude holding a flag on a orange background. Is it road closed, playground ahead, flag person, flagger ahead, or school zone ahead?
I assume flag person?
Yes.
I don't even know what a flag person is, but that dude has a flag.
So what a flag person is, here's an education. So if you go to construction zone, have you ever seen the people that have the stop signs?
Yeah.
It's the same thing. So stop, yield, but they have a flag instead to wave you through.
Interesting.
Yeah. It all depends on where you're at in the country. Under normal roadway conditions, you must not drive slower than blank on interstate highways. 25 miles an hour, 40 miles an hour, 50 miles an hour, or 60 miles an hour. I know
normal roadway conditions, you must not drive slower than
blank on interstates.
40.
You are correct, sir. That's why if you ever look at some highways,
I've not been on an interstate yet. I'm scared.
Well, you've been on them with me.
But I mean not driving. Yeah.
If you ever look, there's some of them will have like speed limit, and then underneath it'll have minimum.
That's the most scary thing in the world to me is going on an interstate.
No, the most scary thing is merging onto an interstate. Once you're on it, you're fine.
Yeah, but then you got to get off it as well.
Yeah, that's not.
So that's why it's scary.
Which of these statements is false? Some cities and towns do not allow U-turns. Do not make a U-turn on a curve or near the crest of a hill. Always make a U-turn at a marked location with a no U-turn sign. You should only make a U-turn when it is safe to do so.
Last one. No, wait. Which statement is false?
Yeah, which statement is false?
Always make a U-turn at the no U-turn sign. I was going ahead and say that.
When turning left from a two-way street onto a one-way street, you should swing wide to the right before turning. Begin your turn on the... with your right wheel as close to possible as the yellow dividing line. Begin with your left wheel as close to possible to the yellow dividing line. Do any of the above.
Third one?
Yes.
That was a stab in the dark, honestly.
To obtain a driver's license, you must pass a vision test, a written test, a road sign test, a driving test, a vision test, a written test, a vehicle test, and a fitness test, a vision test, a written test, a driving test, and a vehicle test, a vision test, a road sign test, a vehicle test, and a fitness test.
Top one.
You are correct.
Yeah.
Reference markers are placed alongside the shoulder to mark the edge of the roadway. They give drivers information about their locations on the roadway, the conditions of the roadway, posted speed limits on the roadway, upcoming expressways.
Locations.
Correct.
Hope everyone at home is enjoying this, watching me suffer.
A vehicle stopping distance is equal to the sum of the braking distance and reaction distance, the braking distance, the sum of the reaction distance and following distance, the sum of braking distance and following distance.
Braking and reaction.
Top one?
Yeah.
You are correct. So how quickly can you react and how quickly can you stop?
Yeah.
What does this sign mean? It is a T with what looks like a railroad crossing through it.
It's an H with a railroad crossing on the right side of the H.
An underpass, an intersection for crossroads, a side road to a railroad crossing, or a T-junction of a highway.
Third one. Yep.
What does this sign mean? It's a truck with a giant no through it. Drivers can park trucks here. No parking is allowed here. No trucks are allowed on this road. Only large trucks are allowed on this road.
No trucks, motherfucker.
Correct. This sign indicates it is a traffic light with a
Top
yellow
one.
traffic signal, oncoming school bus, oncoming yours.
Traffic light ahead.
It's a stoplight. This driver's hand signal indicates that this driver is intending to. So they've got their hand out their window facing down with an L-shaped pattern. Make a right turn, speed up, slow down or stop, or make a U-turn.
Which is fucking stupid, by the way, because
no, you're wrong. It's slow down or stop.
What's
this
the
is right turn. Straight out is right turn. Slow
That's
down.
Left turn.
then it's this way because this is slow down, stop. Yeah.
Because I remember like I
When
thought
you're on
it
your
was like
bike.
the downwards one because I was like I
No,
do
'cause
that
it's slow
all
down
the
and then
time
stop.
when I'm just chilling.
Yeah.
And like that's an actual road sign.
It's slow
thing.
down,
Like,
stop.
How do you?
You're
know
supposed to
the
do it on. You're
difference?
supposed to do it on your bikes.
Yeah.
If there are two solid yellow lines next to your lane, you must never cross the lines to pass or change lanes.
Top one.
Treat them as a single broken line. Cross the lines only to pass. Cross lines only during permitted times.
Never.
When passing another vehicle, get through the other driver's blind spot as quickly as you can by reducing your speed, by increasing your speed, without exceeding the speed limit by shifting gears. I feel like it's a
By increasing your speed, I guess. But you probably shouldn't
Correct.
exceed the speed limit.
yeah. So.
Yeah.
When you see or hear an emergency vehicle that is approaching from any direction while using a siren or air horn and red or blue flashing light, you must move to the center of the road, pull over to the left edge of the road, move to the left edge of the road, increase your speed, pull over to the right edge of the road.
Pull over to the right edge of the road.
Correct. I actually had one the other day. I was on the interstate and I couldn't go anywhere, so I just kept my lane in the middle because there's people to the right already. This sign warns drivers of, so it's two people, one looks like a man and woman carrying bags, a pedestrian crossing, a school zone, a railroad crossing, or a work zone.
I guess pedestrian crossing, although it's tempting to be a school zone. But if they're school,
What's your final answer?
if they're school kids, they're really big. Do pedestrian crossing.
Pedestrian? You are incorrect, sir. It's a school
yeah.
crossing.
But they're like 80 years
zone.
old. That dude looks like he has a cane.
It's so you can see it.
All right.
What does this sign mean? It's a giant H
Hospital.
on a blue background. Is it handicap parking? Is it a high occupancy vehicle lane, HOV lane, hospital, or a heliport?
Hospital.
View results.
Pass. Did I pass?
I don't know if it tells you. Unlock all tests.
At
No.
the bottom, there's a big stamp. It says, it says
pass.
pass guaranteed.
Yeah.
I don't think that means I passed, though. I
You have failed.
I got 70%.
You have to get 80%. So even with the one
Yeah.
that I marked wrong, you still
Yeah.
failed.
There was a couple there that I just, my brain scrambled. I promise I'm not that bad. But, I mean, still. 70's not bad, considering I haven't done it for
So these are ones you missed. You missed the railroad crossing.
Yeah. I know what I missed. They were all red.
Can't go to the next one.
That one I should have known.
the
Because
pedestrian-
I remember seeing that sign before and making that same comment of like,
The how do you graduate your license?
Yeah.
This sign.
that I wasn't sure about.
Turn signal,
Yeah.
which we know is an issue apparently.
Yeah. Yeah.
Passing in a blind spot. Your
I did
beams
know
and
this
fog.
one. I just chose the wrong answer.
The 3 second, 4 second rule.
Yeah,
3
that
second
I
rule.
thought was 5 for some reason.
Hydroplaning.
Yeah, I still think I was right there.
Your turn signal with his arm out the window. Your blood alcohol content if you're under 21. This one I marked wrong, so you got that right technically.
Yeah.
So, cool. How did you do, everybody? Tom got a 70. Hopefully he's not allowed to road anytime soon.
And I can drive. I'm allowed. You guys are fucked.
Well, you got to pass the test to get a full license.
I still think I'm better than half of Missouri. They're terrible at driving.
You say that, but they've passed their driving tests.
That's true.
You haven't yet. So it's funny in high school because you can take driver's ed in high school
Yeah.
as part of the thing. And
Yeah, see, we can do that.
a lot of my friends, well, it's not part of the school. It was
It's
separate.
an option, but like we never even had that option. That's why you guys are
A lot
good
of
at
my
drivers.
a lot of my friends failed the first time. I passed first time. Just gonna say it. I'm a pretty decent driver.
You're right.
I go real quick. I have like racing moments where I just zip along.
Racing
but,
moments.
but yeah.
All right.
So, play name that game. Do I need? To
Let's
pull
take a
up
quick break first
Do I need to pull
before
up
we
the
head
counter?
into Name That Game. Welcome back to the quiz section of the show, as if that last section wasn't a quiz section. I feel personally attacked. But I'm going to get some payback because it's time to play Name That Game, the game where we get to ask 20 closed questions of each other. Well, essentially, in this time, it's going to be him asking me, and because I'm the key holder here.
You got him, what, 12 or 14 last time? You got it relatively quick last time.
Yeah, I got like 7 last time.
It wasn't 7.
It was a really hard one,
It was double digits.
Either way, yeah, so basically, I pick a game. Keegan does not know that game. And it's a game that I know that he has at some point in his life experienced, which is not always the case with games that he picks. But
it's not true. I've never picked one that you haven't experienced yet.
Only by sheer luck. You didn't know I'd played Obscure.
Yeah, but I know you know obscure games. I didn't say anything.
Yeah, you better not have.
No, I didn't. If it feel any better.
So, put it there. There you
go. Your liquid's going to be keyed out. It's going to be invisible here.
I don't give a shit. So basically, he gets to ask me 20 closed questions. Closed question is a question that has a singular answer. It doesn't have to be yes or no, but those are prompt versions of a closed question. Mm-hmm. It is just like, what's your favorite color? Red. That's a closed question. There's no more follow-on from that. No extra information.
The only question you can ask is what genre?
Correct. So the only question he's not allowed to ask me is
until we find more that we're not allowed to ask.
Is it? Yeah. Until or if it's like such a completely ridiculous dead giveaway, so close to the beginning that maybe we'll debate.
Does it have the word Ghostbusters? This isn't a question. But
Yeah,
does it have
no,
the word
but
Ghostbusters
that's
in
a
there?
perfect example of a question. Yeah. Although technically
that would be
answer. That being
Question
said,
number
I'm
one.
facing towards you. You get question number 1 and go.
What platform was it originally released on?
You're stealing my opening questions. Let's see here. Original. Oh, that's weird. I have a different game here. Okay, here we go. It was originally released on the Nintendo 64.
N64.
That should help you because that narrows that down some.
Mm-hmm. Is it an exclusive to Nintendo?
Correct.
Okay. Question number 3. Is it a first-party Nintendo IP?
Incorrect.
So it's exclusive to Nintendo, but not a first-party IP.
Mm-hmm.
Was it published by Nintendo?
Incorrect.
Is there... I don't know how to say the question. I wanted to ask if there's animals in it, but like, is there humanoid animals? Like, do you play an animal?
You do not play an animal, but there are animals in the game.
Cool. Has there been any sequels to this game?
Correct.
Has this game been remastered at any point? Like anything in this genre, in the series?
This particular game has not been remastered. There may have been re-releases of some of the sequels. Honestly, I don't know, and they're not relevant to this game, so I'm not answering.
Cool. Is it a game I own?
I don't know.
So we're going to count that as a question?
I mean, your games are all up there, right?
No. Those are the ones
not.
I've rebought.
Yeah, I guess.
We just won't
Yeah,
count
I
that.
don't know the answer to that, so you can skip that question.
What are you? What do you play as?
I guess you are.
How do you guess? I feel like you should know.
Well, I'm trying to like. It doesn't really tell you. It just says like a player, but you are essentially a younger boy.
And it's not exclusive to Nintendo, so it's not Bumblebee.
It's exclusive to Nintendo. It wasn't published by
Published by
Nintendo.
Nintendo.
Yeah. And this game was exclusive to Nintendo. That doesn't mean the sequels were.
I'm assuming it's not a Nintendo IP then, because those have not been elsewhere.
It'd be weird for them not to publish.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it's not.
You
it's
can ask me
none
to
of them.
publish it if you want to.
That won't help me though. I don't.
Probably
not. What are your? Do you? I want to ask. What are your weapons? And I'll kind of answer both questions I have then.
You're not. It's not a game that you have weapons.
Okay. Is there any sort of attacking in this game?
No.
So it's a passive game.
It's a passive game. How many questions, John? 11.
This is 11. So, it's exclusive to Nintendo. Not published by Nintendo. No weapons. What else did I ask?
Play a young boy.
You play a young boy. It's on N64, which is my thing. Trying to think what
I know you've played it, but I don't know if you owned it.
I want to say Bomberman. Like, that's what's popping in my head right now is Bomberman 64.
I'm pretty sure if you asked me what the weapons were, I would have said bombs.
That's why I know that's wrong. But I want to say bomb. Like my brain just keeps going back to Bomberman 64.
That's a dope game.
Yeah, it's the first game.
I love Bomberman.
Game I ever rented from GameStop or from Blockbuster.
Nice.
I assume when you say little, I don't know if this is actually a question. We can count it if you want to, but I assume when you say little boy, that means you're a human.
Yeah.
Because you said no animal. You're not an animal.
You are indeed a human. And the only reason I know it's a little boy is based off the artwork, not because it says anywhere on the Wikipedia.
Because you can't see it or anything.
Yeah, it just says player everywhere else.
Does this game have multiplayer?
Great question. No.
Oh, what the hell was it?
Sorry.
It's a Nintendo exclusive that doesn't have multiplayer, which is 99% of what I played. It's a little boy.
I just told them. I like whispered it to them.
But they're playing along.
Well, I'm mad at
No,
them.
you
They still
ruined
might
it.
not get it.
You ruined it for them.
Sorry.
Um,
The audio people don't have a clue. Dead air.
Who developed it?
Who developed it?
yeah,
Victor Interactive Software.
never heard of them. I was hoping it was going to be something I
That's a good question.
Was this game ever available on GameCube?
No.
I feel like a butt's coming.
But it was eventually available on the Wii Virtual Console.
The hell is it? 'Cause I didn't play it on. I don't play Virtual Console at all. See, I keep again N64 keep going first party, and I know it's not first party.
How you doing at home?
What's your goal in the game?
Good question. You're gonna fucking get it as soon as I say this. Your goal is to restore and maintain a farm.
Does it have the word moon in the title?
Yes, it does.
Is it Harvest Moon 64?
It is Harvest Moon 64. Congratulations.
I didn't. That's not first party.
No.
Who published it?
Natsumi.
Oh, I could have swore that Harvest Moon was...
Harvest Moon 64, released in Japan as Bokujo Monogatari 2, is a farm simulation video game developed by Victor Interactive Software and published by Natsumi for the Nintendo 64 games console system. The third game in the Story of Seasons series, following Harvest Moon Game Boy. It was first released in Japan on February 5th, 1999, and was later released in North America on December 22nd, 1999. Natsumi initially stated bringing it to the Wii U Virtual Console was not possible due to unknown technical issues, despite the Wii proving the task to be possible through homebrew emulation. However, in celebration of the series' 20th anniversary, the game abruptly saw release on the Wii U Virtual Console on February 23rd, 2017. This also marked the game's debut in the PAL regions. The original had been cancelled due to time constraints, as well as the game's first official re-release, as well as the first time digital in nearly 2 decades.
So you're right, I never owned the game.
But you have played.
But I've rented it many times.
Because you were harping on about it the other day, saying how much you loved it. So I thought, you might get it, you might not.
I could have swore that it was first party though. That's what because I thought about that, but I was like, I thought that was published by Nintendo. I mean, I just assume everything on the N64 was published by Nintendo.
It had 64 in the name, but
that's cartoons.
I thought you were going to ask me, does it have 64 in the name, and that would help you narrow it down, but...
No, because not very many games actually had the moniker 64 in them.
That's why it would help you narrow it down.
I know, it would be a waste question if it was a no.
But it would be a really good question if it was a yes.
But if it's, in this case it was, but if it wasn't, it's a waste question.
Could ask, I mean,
I feel like
risky questions.
I feel like my what is your goal question was...
Yeah. I mean, I had to tell you at that point. So there you go. So Harvest Moon 64. Let us know if you got that before Keegan did at home. For example, when I said you are a player and yes, there are animals, that would have been a good start. But I guess it took a little while longer to catch on to that. So let's talk about my tales here right up after the break. Welcome back, folks. It's time to pick it up with the last section of the podcast this week, which is, of course, me nattering on about some bullshit. And in this instance, the bullshit's going to be Indy Popcon 2018, where we just came back from. And Indy Popcon 2018 was a pretty fun time overall. Now, we have a playlist that you can access that has everything that we did during that time in terms of interviews and stuff like that. This time around, we took our friend Isa Lee to Indy Popcon with us, and she was there basically to help us as like a third on our panel, because our panel that we did this year around was Twitch or YouTube, which is the best platform for you. And
spoilers, it's both.
Yeah, and it was a good time. I mean, it's definitely worth pointing out that we had way less attendance on the panel than we did the last time around, which was a tiny bit disheartening. But the people that we did have, we had a good 20, 30 people in there. They were super into it. Like, they were asking good questions. There was a ton of questions we got at the end.
It's to point out that the attendance on all panels, I felt like this year was down. So it wasn't just us, but
yeah, every single panel actually had really low attendance. Like, we went to another panel that was Twitch based, and I think there was 4 or 5 people in the room, and we were like a part of that. So it's kind of across the board. So we weren't too upset about it, but I think the fact that we went to the medium room just kind of emphasized it more. But I think the panel went really well. I think we got across all the points that we wanted to get across. I think people definitely got, a better idea of which way to go as far as YouTube or Twitch. And you had a special moment. Do you want to talk about your special moment?
Yeah, Michelle is her name.
Which by the way, we met her at our job. She lives in St. Louis.
Yeah,
she was randomly at our store like 2 days after. It was weird.
Yeah. So we were in a panel and we were taking questions, and the question she asked was like, does Twitch do more than just gaming? And you're like, yeah, IRL stuff, like in real life stuff. And you then asked, what specifically are you looking for? Like, what's your target?
And I feel bad about this because it put her on the spot a little bit, considering
she didn't have to answer
what
it
was. But she was brave and she said it.
She said it was bipolar. She's bipolar, and I immediately said, me too. And it was funny because I think it took a second for her to realize what I had said. I kind of interrupted it though too. I was like, me too. But we had a nice chat afterwards, and we kind of, during the panel, were like, hey, there is other things outside of gaming on Twitch. There's IRL stuff. There's people who just vlog. There's all these different things that go on cooking. So we had a nice chat afterwards, kind of what she wanted to do, and I kind of helped her point her in a direction. For her personally, with everything that she said, I feel like YouTube would be the better platform because there are people. YouTube to me is more of looking for resources for the type of stuff she wanted to do. She wanted to do like day in the life of like this is how I cook with this. But even then,
it couldn't hurt to do both.
No.
You know what I mean?
But
because Twitch is more immediate, so if she's having an episode of some kind, then she could go directly to Twitch and talk about it, whereas YouTube is better for like
well, when she was telling me though, she wanted to do more of like this is what I like she told me that she ended up buying a house in a manic phase, and I go, I'm sure there's repercussions for that. She goes, oh, yes, there were.
That's crazy.
So we talked a little bit about that and kind of how she would present that, and I was like, look, you have a really cool concept here. You have a way like of helping people out that I don't think you realize you have. And it's funny because I talk about it on here. I don't pound it in people's faces, but I am diagnosed bipolar. And there's times where I do bring it up and there's times I talk about it. But like I told her, one of the things I told her is ever since I kind of got over the saying it in public or saying it on here, because this goes out to the internet, like people have come to me and asked questions, and that's all I really wanted out of it is just understanding. And one of the examples she used was she wanted people to find different coping mechanisms because she would Google and like find different things that would work. And I've done the same thing. And I was like, that's brilliant. Like, I would love to steal your idea, but I won't because it's your idea. But like finding a channel that's based around just her real life experiences and somebody who can speak to what happened and what's going on, along with helping her have an outlet. Like that's the other thing too, is it's not just her helping with it. Yeah. It's the other way around. I mean, there are times, and you know this, that when I've come here, I've been in the shittiest of moods and didn't want to do anything, but it gets me out of bed, as dumb as that is. So we had a nice conversation afterwards. I don't want to go into too much detail because I don't want to spoil her thunder, but I gave her my card, told her to email me when she goes live. Michelle, you better do that. But yeah, it was exciting because it took a lot of courage to say that, and I know it's not easy. It definitely felt like the first time she probably said it publicly.
Yeah, she was super hesitant.
But it is what it is. Like there's a stigma around it that you've got to fight, and I love my mom to death, but me and my mom have had discussions on whether I should make it public, and I've decided to make that choice, and she doesn't necessarily agree with it.
Part of it as well is that when you first get diagnosed with it, and I'm assuming that you went through this, but correct me if I'm wrong, it's scary. Right? When someone says, hey, the reason why you're kind of like acting like this at certain time periods.
It's actually more of a relief because you know what's going on.
Right.
The scary part is when you don't know.
But when anyone says you have a lifelong mental disorder, that's got to feel a little weird. But the fact is that maybe you took it differently, and maybe there was a portion of relief.
For me, the initial thing was, okay, I'm not crazy. Like this is something that's wrong. But then it's like, how do I deal with it? So that's the next step.
For like younger folks as well, though, younger than you even, like for them, that might be something that they're really kind of nervous about dealing with. And the idea of Michelle's channel is that they'd be able to go to a place where they can like look up like a big directory of like coping mechanisms. And if they needed someone to talk to, who better than someone who is dealing with it on a daily basis and actually putting out information to try and help people.
And one of the things too that, and I'm not going to go too much into bipolar, but bipolar tends to, you can get it in your teens, but it tends to show its head more in your early to mid 20s is kind of when it kind of cements itself, I guess is the best way to say it. Like that's when you see it the most as you become an adult. But you can't get it as early as your teenage years. There are kids that have it diagnosed, and I have strong opinions on diagnosing kids with mental disorders early on, but that's a personal thing. But it can show up anytime in life. There's people that I know that are in their 50s that had no idea. They just thought they were crazy.
Yeah.
But I do, one of the things, and I use crazy is not like a derogatory term because there are people that I know that hate that term. But it's a cool feeling when you find out what's wrong. And when you then have the option to find a solution, which is the best feeling. And her giving people that solution, because one of the scariest things to me, and I'm still trying to get the medication right, because there's times where the medication will fuck you up more than having an episode. But like for me, going to a doctor and talking about it is the hardest thing because there's such a stigma around it, and medical professionals aren't supposed to have that. But at the same time, some people do. Some there's doctors that are super prescription happy. There's some that are not, and I've gone to both. But it's very unnerving talking about it. But at the same time, you just don't think about it. It's just a thing that you are. Yeah, and you notice it more and more in certain situations. Like last year when all the shit happened, I was like, "Fuck this, I'm done." But yeah. So anyways.
So that was a really cool moment during the panel, sweet moment. And it actually, hopefully, you know, again, we say that we do this to try and help people, and we do. And obviously we do it because we love video games and we love talking to people about how to try and get their truth across as far as like starting a channel, whether it's video games or not.
Don't do it for the views.
Don't do it for the views. But, you know, each subsection of show that we do, we have 3 shows, right? We have the Indy, Please Add Details, we have Codename Morpheus, and we have this show. Every show is designed to help the thing we're talking about. The Codename Morpheus is designed to help indie developers, to help people, to help highlight VR in general, to show the new titles that are coming out, and to try and keep the steam behind that platform. Indy, Please Add Details is designed to help indie developers to talk about developments in the indie world, to focus on lower tier titles that you may not have heard of, and new releases that may go under the radar. And this show is about like how you make a YouTube channel, basically, or a Twitch channel, or whatever.
It's basically about us.
It's about us.
It's about us going through this journey of life,
right?
Or this path that we're on.
It's definitely more personal. We do a lot of stuff concerning, like, you know, we pull the curtain back, as you like to say, quite a few times in this.
That's reference to Wizard of Oz, right?
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
In this particular podcast, but I mean, you know, today, like, he didn't even think of a topic until
I had
another
a topic.
podcast that we did.
I had a topic, but I changed it.
Okay.
I was like,
but you know, we start talking about fucking cars and stuff, and again, that's the type of thing we can do because it's our personal show, so we can just drop on a dime and say, you know what, I want to fucking talk about this today.
I want to give Tom a quiz, and
there's times when I've read a news article right before the podcast and been like, I'm going to talk about this instead. But yeah, so I mean, this is designed to help people, and hopefully that panel helped people. We love that. We loved the whole Pterodactyl thing, so let's talk about that real quick. So the last year that we went out to Indy Popcon, we did our panel, the small YouTuber panel, like, and how to get better as a small YouTuber. We had a lovely...
The struggle as a small YouTuber and how to overcome them.
Thank you. We had a lovely girl come out. Her name was Pterodactyl is her YouTube name. And she's such a sweetheart. She really is. And she was the shyest little withering violet you've ever seen in your life. And then we watched her show. And she is just a bowl of energy. And it's so awesome. So we were just like, wow, like, how the hell is this chick not doing better than she is already? You know, she had 77 subscribers at the time of the thing, and then we saw her this year, almost exactly a year later, she's at 307, which is incredible. That's a lot of growth in a short time, and she deserves every single one of those views. And we got to do something very special for her at Indy. We had an interview with Crank Gameplays and Gerbeagley, otherwise known as Ethan and Brian, who are sort of massively sought after in the YouTube world. They have an army of teenage girls that love everything they do, and Claire's one of them. And so we interviewed them, and then we asked them to record a special message for her, which they did happily, and that made her day a little bit too. So that was again another kind of like small thing that we did that I was super happy about.
Her too, and I told it to her at the con, is you can see she's way more comfortable.
Oh, confident wise, yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, it's funny because I feel like last year we were all strangers, and we still kind of are strangers. Like the internet's a weird place because you talk online with all these people, but like even like James and Matthew, like I'm sure you meeting them last year was kind of like, oh, how is this gonna work out?
I'm pretty amicable.
Well, I'm not saying it, but there's always that, like, you think you know somebody and then you see them in person, they might be slightly different.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
So like with her, it's funny because last year she was, like you said, super quiet, super shy, like, and then this year, like, she hung up with us a couple times on the show floor and walked around and we were like, hey, if you want to join, just let us know. We have no issues. Like, You just can't go to the bar with us.
Yeah, that's a shame.
So,
but
Colin as well.
Yeah, Colin came out. Colin from Nuts and Dalts. He's another guy that we met at our panel last year. He came out this year specifically to see us, and unfortunately his car got all kinds of fucked up, and the dude didn't have any windshield wipers, and it was storming, so it was very tough for him to move around. But he did come and join us for our celebratory drink at Tappers on the last day. Played some arcades with us, and we had a good time there. And of course, we hung out a little bit on the show floor too for the days that he was available. So that was really
people
cool.
Thought we were Overwatch professional.
We were wearing these jerseys, which were provided
James,
by Tegrado, and they're all like personalized and everything. So we went to go play Overwatch in this big esports arena place because we were having super withdrawals, and people like thought we were actually professional players.
My favorite moment ever, and I've said this multiple times already, but my favorite moment was we were sitting there. So picture like it's just a giant pillar with then 4 TVs on each side of the pillar. I was on one side, you're on the other side. We were playing together because we were friends on the accounts. And I was sitting there playing, and we were on Well, and I was playing Farah, and I do as I do. I boosted up in the sky, and I knew they were going to come around the corner. And granted, we're playing low-level people, so like they're not the best. So I come around the corner, and I do my I can't think what it's called.
Concussion blast.
That's it. The concussion blast, and knock 2 people into the well immediately at the beginning of the match, and they die because they fall in the well. And I just hear behind me like, oh shit, these guys are good. I try not to laugh, where I was like, you have no idea. Yeah, but we did have a couple moments that made us look good.
Yeah, it was cool. It was a good time.
But even like when we were over by Mercy and Sombra before, I don't know if it was before or after we interviewed them, but I had a couple people come up to me and say, hey, are you guys actually with the Fusion? Like, are you with a professional team? And I was like, no, we just have the jerseys. I got them for us. Like, we're just fans.
Just fans.
And then obviously Brian being an NYXL fan, we had fun with that.
Yeah. Speaking of which, we did get to talk to the voices of Mercy and Sombra as well, Lucy Paul and Carolina Ravassa. And Carolina Ravassa actually did an amazing stream recently with Connor from Detroit Beyond Human, or Brian Descartes, I think is his name.
I think I watched that.
Incredible. Yeah, he's such a nice guy too. They asked him who he thought he could like do voiceover for Overwatch if he was given the opportunity. And he's like, I'd love to do Zarya. And then someone drew up this artwork of him as Zarya, and it's scary good. Like, just with the pink hair and everything. No, I didn't know. I don't think he had the little Detroit thing, but it was really good. So I mean, basically for us, Indy is a con that is really close to our heart. We had a great time this year.
It's funny because I found it a couple years ago. I watched some YouTube videos of people who had gone there, and I was like, that looks interesting. And I went on a whim one year. Just long story short, I found it. I was modding for One Shot Girl at the time. We had a bunch of us. I let her know, say, hey, this is a convention you might want to go to. She ended up going to it and a few other people, and then I've gone ever since. This was your second year.
Your third.
Going, my third year going. And it's funny because the con this year celebrated its 5th year. So it's only 5 years old, and
it's a young con.
But it's really well run. Like, we talked about our Wizard World experience, which was not so great. Very poorly run, very large con, and this is definitely run by people who care, even to the extent of like, we asked when we checked in for press, is there a press room? And they're like, no, but if you want to leave your stuff behind here, we'll let you. And we're like, oh, we didn't want that.
They definitely respected the press a lot more at Indy than they did at Wizard World, and it was they were a lot more amicable to everything that we wanted to do. And they let us into our panel room like the day before it even opened. Like, they were just really cool about everything, and they let us into the show floor early.
As long as you're not interrupting anything, like, that's the thing. And also, pulling the curtain back, I emailed these people a couple months before PopCon, being like, hey, when do panels and press applications open up? And I got an email back from the press guy, and he was like, hey, press should be open up in the next week or 2. We don't know yet. We're finalizing some things. But he goes, I've already got you guys on the list. I'm going to send you a link when you're ready to go, just to have it formal so we don't miss it. But he's like, you guys have done the last 2 years. Last 2 years we'll be happy.
And they've used our footage in the official like stuff before, because especially when we had our dance party with Lauren, like that was just a perfect con moment, and they used that in their actual like advertising and stuff, which is great. We love that. But yeah, I mean, I think it was fun having Debs there as kind of like an extra voice there. She had a good time as well. I think she met with a lot of Twitch people there and some indie developers. You got absolutely plastered a couple nights in a row, and that's all documented, which is honestly probably my favorite moment of the entire thing, was just you getting plastered. Like, the one night, super plastered, singing in the car, and then the next night, like, just immediately drunk again. It was just like you went from like kind of like not realizing you were drunk on the second day, and the third day, like the moment that I put in the vlog, you go, I'm drunk as fuck. And I was just like, he's embracing it. He's embracing the drunk. But
I was pissed when I knocked my whole beer over.
Yeah, that
pissed me off.
I knocked one over on the table too. We're 2 for 2.
Yeah, yours was bigger than mine now.
That's true. But yeah, so I mean, we had a grand old time. It's always awesome. I think the hotel was great too. I really liked the hotel.
It was actually it's because it's different. So normally,
it wasn't too far away.
Normally we stay in the Westin, but the Westin is expensive. That's where all the YouTubers and all those guys stay. And the Holiday Inn's a little less expensive than the Westin, and it wasn't, like you said, it wasn't too far away.
It's still legit. Next time I'm bringing a swimming costume because they have a pool there.
You mean swim trunks? You bringing a swimming costume?
Yeah, I'm going to wear like the
costume?
1950s with the
unitard,
the vests and everything.
I don't want that image.
But yeah, so I mean, really, what it boils down to for us is that
we're going back next year.
We have a board up that you guys can't see, and it says Wizard World STL Indy Popcon E3. I should add a Pixel Pop to it. But
which is in a month.
So those are the big 3 things we were focusing on this year as far as like stuff outside of what we were doing. It just so happened that Wizard World kind of bombed for us. Indy Popcorn and E3 happened at the same fucking time, so that was really hard to cover both, which is why we're doing most of our E3 stuff with the podcast. And and Indy Popcorn, we got so many good like moments that
I feel like with Indy Popcorn, we were joking because like, you know how cons go from our perspective. We're there to get content as well as have fun and be fans and all that kind of stuff. But I feel like Friday we got so much done that like there was no pressure.
All the big stuff was just done. Yeah. So
like
aside from our panel, we really had no pressure, which just made it so nice. So I'm hoping we can do a similar thing next year where we get everything taken care of on day 1, and then everything is just kind of chill after that. Maybe even try and get another panel again in a smaller room, assuming that the panels maybe pick up next year. But I think, of course, like the attendance may have been down a little bit as well, just because of the celebrities that were chosen.
I agree.
But yeah, so I mean, overall, it was awesome hanging out with our buddies, Tigrado and Matt, and having Debs out there, and also Claire and Colin and everyone else. 1,000 Faces Cosplay, can't forget those guys. We had a great time with them.
The Slug Slasher.
Yeah, all the devs that we've known over the years. Cattails.
It's always fun going back and seeing people again.
Yeah.
And like, I'm excited, and I said in the Indie podcast, I'm excited for Slug Slasher to be at Pixel Pop, and it's only been a month, but I'm excited to see it in Pixel Pop again and play that game.
One of the other kind of cool things, not Indie Popcorn related, because we did have a great time at Indie Popcorn, and we just kind of wanted to talk about it just a little bit. Like, if you've watched a vlog and stuff, you kind of know what went on there. If you haven't watched a vlog, go and watch it. It shows basically Indie Popcorn from our perspective. So you have the interviews and everything, and you can go watch all those if you're interested in those people.
I got stuck in a role-playing game for an hour and a half that I didn't realize.
But the vlog is like, this is what it's like to be us, go here and do what we do, and get drunk sometimes. So it's a really good like insight piece. It was kind of like, it's similar to the 24-hour stream documentary that we did. So yeah, so go and look at that if you really want to see what it's like to be doing what we do at a convention. The exciting news is that we have Pixel Pop Convention coming up, which is the largest gaming developers, festival in St. Louis. And, we're from St. Louis. We love St. Louis. We are lucky enough to know a lot of developers in the area, but also the head honchos of this type of world, like Carol Mertz and a couple of the other guys, Mary, and Adrian as well, and really big content sort of creators and whatnot. So for us, it's going to be super awesome this year because Carol reached out to us and said, "Hey, would you guys like to be the official like video guys for our thing?" Because they know what we do. They know that we do it pretty good. Whenever it comes to highlighting any developers, we're kind of pros at that now. We have it down pat. We go there, we play the game, we get some Elgato footage, we interview them about what we just did, and then we splice it all together. And those things tend to work pretty good. So we're officially like the partners, I guess the video partners of the festival this year, which is the first time for us to be partners in anything, let alone something game related like this. And a lot of our friends are going to be there. I think TJ's going to be there again. You're gonna have,
I was going to say, I've got a list, but people we've met before. Battle Cakes is going to be there.
That's Mary's thing. Noir will be there from TJ.
Slug Slasher, like I said. Yeah, because of the Fae I've talked to on Facebook. We actually covered their game. They gave us a key for that.
There's a lot of good games this year.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of games in general, so I'm excited. But
I'm super excited.
They're not just Text Quest will be there too. They're at Indy Pop as well. But like, it's not like, because you can get a lot of indie games, and a lot of indie games. The problem when you put a lot of indie games in the same room, a lot of things look very similar. I think the indie games that they selected are so diverse that I'm excited to play, because you won't get. I don't say you won't get bored, because you'll never get bored at a con, but at the same time, well, unless you're Wizard World.
Yeah.
But like from this list, I'm so excited just to see what some of these are and kind of see what.
Yeah, some of the preview stuff looks really incredible. So I'm really excited about it. And, so we're going to have to be doing a lot of the panel recording, a lot of the developer interviews, a lot of the gameplay recording. Super, super, super excited. We're going to get to go in pretty shortly here and do an AV kind of like run through, I suppose, with the gang that are putting on the festival, and we get to sort of let them know our concerns and stuff. And mostly our only concern right now is that we're 2 people and there's a lot of content, and we got to figure out how to get all of that going. So I mean, we're happy just like if someone else edits and gets audio videos and gets audio to edit it all together and whatnot. But yeah, so that's kind of something that we have coming up here. The actual con or pop, whatever I guess you call it, is going to be at the end of July. It's like the last couple days in July.
28th and 29th.
And then, so that's where we're going to basically focus all of our energy into getting as much good footage as we can. And then we should be back to like completely like normal strict schedules, because I don't think we frankly have enough money to do any more cons for the rest of the year.
Well, there's a couple. So again, curtain pullback. We didn't like Wizard World this year, so we're looking at other cons to go to.
Yeah, we're definitely choosing different ones.
This year, there has been 2 new Comic-Cons. Well, one brand new one that's been around for a year that have popped up in the St. Louis area that I'm going to reach out to some people and say, hey, we've done Wizard World last few years, didn't have a good experience with it, covering it. You guys are getting started. What would it take for us to partner with you?
I would love to be at one that's like actually homegrown and not just like a traveling circus like Wizard World.
Which is what Pixel Pop is. Pixel Pop's homegrown. Yeah.
So we're going to work on that type of stuff. Obviously, we're still pushing our own stuff. We have Twitch and Discord are big pushes for us right now. Those are Keegan's solo pushes, and I'm still focusing heavy on content creation and that kind of stuff. So everything's going great, guys. We're having a really good time, and we're actually like getting great content. We have a ton of new people on board. A lot of like people that are commenting more often and sort of asking us questions. As a channel and as people that have been doing this for 3 years now, I think that everything's moving in the right direction. Most excitedly, we should be doing maybe a podcast here pretty soon with Gerbigli about Overwatch, which is kind of fun. We're going to work on that.
Yeah, make sure we watch the finals.
And then we also have something we're supposed to be doing with PSVR Without Parole.
That's just thought about this.
What's up?
That's the same weekend as Pixel Pop.
Is it?
I believe so.
The Overwatch thing?
Yeah.
That's all right. Pixel Pop's in the day.
Well, we can do it. We don't have to record it that day, but we'll figure this out.
So just to give you like a state of the union for how we're doing pretty fucking good. Thank you for asking. And that's about it for our show for episode 62 of the Level 2 podcast. So this week we talked about how bad I am at driving.
That you failed your test.
Keegan managed to. I failed my second test. I passed the real one. Keegan knows what Harvest Moon 64 is, and a little bit of a sort of an overview of what we've been doing and why we've been away and things like that. And I do encourage you to go check out those playlists if you haven't already. To all of our new friends and old friends and friends in general that are watching or listening, thank you for keeping us alive. Thank you for keeping us fresh. Thank you for being there. Reach out to us on Twitter at Level2GamersSTL if you have any questions, or in the Discord group description. Check it down there. You'll see the link. Join us. We're keeping it lively. It's going to be a good time. Any last words from you, sir?
No, because this is going to go up Saturday. I was trying to think if I was going to plug a stream, but watch us tomorrow, live stream.
Okay.
You'll see this. There'll be a live stream tomorrow for you guys.
I think we should do Siege.
So
I want to do Siege as a live stream.
We'll see. I have a couple of other things that potentially are coming in the pipeline that indie game wise that it might be happening. So
for the Sunday night one.
Mm-hmm.
All right, fair enough.
Mm-hmm. So
cool.
I'm waiting to hear back.
So either way, we love you. Mwah. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, welcome to the second level.
Bye.
Ain't no game